Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. This is Lori, aka Lolo, and I just wanted to drop a story time video. Instead of doing a live, since I have to go to work shortly, um, this is a short story time about my my battle with cancer. I know that Andrea interviewed me, which I absolutely appreciated. And I loved her for doing the video, for being there for me as soon as she found out, and just so much others. She was there. She was an angel sitting there on my shoulder behind me with a team of angels. Oh, excuse me, I had to get some gum. Anyway, um, I have always had some sort of tonsillitis, some um, problem with my tonsils, but mainly that left tonsil. And what your tonsils are there to do are to catch any kind of infections or anything that can harm your body. It's like the first line of defense. And blessedly, I was able to catch the tumor that had grown on and in that tonsil. And it weirdly didn't go to the right tonsil. So I still have that. Um, so we can start with when I decided to finally just go ahead to the doctor. I said, I'm not going to make an appointment with my regular doctor. I will go just to a quick um, not pain, but a quick, you know, minute clinic kind of thing, patient first. And when I went there, signed in, did all this, and when I get back to see the doctor, what she does is the first thing, I think she wanted to take a strep test, um, see if I had strep throat, which I've had several times over the years, and I think many of us have as well. Now, it is important to know that I have been a smoker since the age of 13 when I started um, with a girl that and her, our friends that we were hanging around together, being so young. She's smoking, I'm hanging out with her, I'm smoking with her as well. And I didn't become a real true smoker until I was 17, 18, which was basically a pack a day. So a pack a day from the age of 17, 18 to 52, it is an extreme amount of cigarette smoke, you know, which has a lot of cancer causing agents, and they've gotten nothing but worse over the years. But luckily, that wasn't what caused this cancer. What caused this cancer was something, a gene stimulator called P16. And P16 is basically a prognostic role, and it's something that will take um, over a small amount of. Well, let me start again. What P16 throat cancer is It is basically from having sex. And of course, I was always a very sexual, promiscuous person. And I have been very busy. Anyway, luckily for me, my tonsil caught all of the um, ongoing um, cells that were forming the cancer. And those cells, they generate, and they basically, one cell divides into two, two into four. It's like almost like growing a child. And this is not a good growing. So, but P16 and HPV, which is also a part of the, well, not a part of my cancer, thank goodness, but it is very closely related with P16 throat cancer. Now, mine, it basically, I'm looking here where it says, moreover, P16 overexpression correlates with a good prognosis in head and neck squamous cell carcinoma, which is what I had. Um, Meaning that cancer was only in that location, in that tonsil. I had what's also, well, let me go back again. I digress. After going to patient first, and the doctor actually, becoming overexcited and basically scaring the hell out of me. Um, and she's basically, oh my God, you have a growth in you, that you have a growth in there. Oh my God, you should look at it. And she gives me the ophthalmology thing that they look in with the light and all. And I didn't want to tell her, hey lady, I don't have my reading glasses on, so I can't really see it. But the size of it was what they call ginormous. And that is the largest size. They go from 1, 2, 3, and I believe 4 is the ginormous size. Um, it was completely, well, almost completely blocking my throat. I mean, it was hard to get anything around it without any pain, food wise or anything. I drank a lot, and I don't mean alcohol. Although maybe that would have made it feel a little better, but I drank a lot because I couldn't eat a lot. And at that point in September, I had lost 75 pounds, which I was very proud of, but, suspected that something wasn't quite right because I wasn't feeling the way I felt when I lost my first 100 pounds with my first gastric bypass 20 odd years ago. And I was not feeling good. So after going to patient first, she said, please go see an ear, nose, and throat doctor as quickly as possible. You have to do this now. You cannot wait. You can't, you can't just procrastinate on it. So, sitting in my parking lot, I couldn't even really get out of my truck. I sat there just kind of thinking, okay, what do I do now? And these are, of course, the thoughts of a lot of people who are alone dealing with things of this nature. And so, you have to sit and you have to think, what am I doing? What do I do? I'm not sure how to proceed from this. How do I go and tell my mom? I just wasn't sure how to do any of that. So instead, what I did was I sat down, and I stayed in my truck probably for a good hour, just thinking, what do I do now? Do I call my regular doctor? How do you, who do you see? How do you get in to see an ear, nose, and throat doctor? I know some insurances you have to have referrals and all, but because I have Medicare, because of my disability, I was I don't have to go through that problem of getting a referral. I can just pick a doctor who is in my insurance bracket, and I can go to them, HMO. So I called the closest ear, nose, and throat doctor that I could Google, and her name was, let me make sure I got it right, because of course it's in my cancer packet, and I'll explain that packet shortly. Um, Her name was Charla, Charla Johnson. She's a ear, nose, and throat physician assistant, and I went over to their doctor's office. I can't remember if it had a particular name, and please charge it to my head and my heart at that time to not remember every single little thing, because it was a whirlwind in my mind just going on. I call there, it's like 7:30 in the morning, and I'm just saying, well, maybe I can leave a message on the answering machine. They'll give me a call back and we'll set up an appointment. I knew that the physician's patient first said I needed to get on this and move on this and act on this as quickly as possible. So I called, just took a chance, and I called over to Chesapeake Bay ENTPC over on Academy Avenue in Portsmouth, Virginia, which I don't know if anybody knows. I called over there, and I told the nurse who answered that something's going on in my throat, that it's almost completely blocked, and I can't do anything really but drink. And she asked me, hold on for a moment. And when she came back very quickly, she said, how soon can you get here? And luckily, that's like 2 minutes away. So I said, I can be there in 5 minutes, and they said, fine, just come in, let us know who you are, we'll check you in and get a look and see what's going on. So, of course, I didn't go into the house. I did not go in to tell my mother. I did not call anybody. I didn't do any of that. I basically, again, was in that whirlwind of thought where you just are like, where do I go next? What am I doing? And so I said, I'm in the car already. Let me go over to this doctor's office, and let's just go see. Maybe they can finally take out my tonsils. I've been begging to have them taken out for years, because of tonsillitis once a year, most of the time. And what happened is, this very, very intelligent, nice, and black, which of course I immediately felt comfortable with. Sad to say, but the office was an African American office. She came in, she took a look, and she said, or she felt around it, she tried to see if it was attached, how it was attached to my throat. If it was just dangling kind of. And luckily for me, it had not attached or adhered to anywhere else on my throat. Um, so what she did was run out of the room. A lot of these doctors running out of rooms when you're in there waiting to find out what's going on scares the shit out of me. And I can't stand it. It's almost like, please stay with me, because I did not have anybody that I could just call right then and say, hey, I need to go to the doctor. Will you go with me? It's always been me and my mom. If she needs to go to the doctor, I go with her. If I needed to go to the doctor when she was able and walking well, she went with me. I mean, my mother was there through four childbirths. My fifth child is my adopted child from my husband, our ex-husband, our blended family. But that's neither here nor there. I did not want to bring my mother into this situation until I knew what was going on and I had a handle on it. Okay, so what they did, she runs out of the room, Dr. Johnson, and she comes back with the head, ear, nose, and throat doctor. And, she asks, can I do a biology? What is it called? It is called oh goodness, I'm so sorry. I completely am blanking out. But they wanted to do a biopsy and take some tissue so that they can check it, send it out to the labs, see what's going on in there. Now, I was told to come back I couldn't get a next appointment until a month and a week later. I go back. I mean, no, but first I'm going too fast. They take the biopsy out. They use the little punctures, almost like a hole puncher, where they take a piece of tissue. The way that the doctor was directing her was scaring the shit out of me because it didn't hurt. They had used this stuff that they call hurricane. And this stuff is something that you breathe in. They put in your mouth and you breathe it in, you drink a little bit, and it's like the Swiss Alps are in your throat. It is like it is the coldest, weirdest feeling I've ever had. It felt like my whole throat was open on and sitting on a mountaintop somewhere. So it didn't hurt. And they took the biopsy. The doctor is telling her, which of course scared me again, cut it, try to do it so a bigger piece comes out. Try to do, and I'm like, I'm imagining what's going on in there. Luckily, she was telling me the whole time that my throat was freezing to death. We're just taking the biopsy tool and trying to create a section to come out. And they said once they take it and get ready for the biopsy, they have to make sure that they get you to the next step as quickly as possible. Because if it was nothing and it was just tonsillitis gone crazy, strep throat gone, well, the strep throat test came back not positive, or negative rather, it is what it came back. And so they took a big piece, and here we go to the next part. I go back. It's October 16th of last year. And I go back and I'm waiting in the room, waiting, and just mind going, just thinking. scared, don't know what. I had told my mother, of course, by then what was going on, that they took a biopsy. They don't know what it is, but I'm going to find out and then I'll deal with it after that. And of course, she said, "Do you want me to go with you?" This woman that I love so much, this woman wanted to try to get dressed and push her walker. And what's bad is both of us have the same walker. I don't really use mine, but she does. And it's painful for her. And for her to offer to come with me and sit with me reminded me of how much she has been there for me. My mother has been there for me for so very many things and so many important moments. So I love her dearly for her support, but I wouldn't let her go. I said, "No, no, baby, don't go. I want you to stay here. I'll be back shortly. I'll let you know what's going on. Um, I'll bring you something back to eat or whatever, because I figured I wouldn't be long. So I'll get you something for breakfast or getting ready to turn lunch, whichever." And I do go back and I'm sitting there. And this is when you really, really feel alone if you are not with somebody. And that is in your corner, so to speak. My mother has always been in my corner, and she has always been right there with me, by me. Every time I've gone for something or she's gone for some, I mean, we've been together like twins for so very long that I was scared to death sitting on that table waiting for Dr. Johnston to come back in. Excuse me, let me take a little drink of water. You really know, excuse me, that something is serious when your doctor takes a seat on that little round stool that they sit in and scoot around in, and she takes your hand and you're by yourself, and it's so very scary. It's like feeling like a little girl again. And she takes my hand and she says, "You're going to be okay. You will be okay and you will survive this." And I'm looking at her. I don't want to hear her say the word cancer. I don't want to hear exactly what LabCorp found. I really don't. But I know I have to. So she tells me, which I thought was kind of weird at the time because my eyes, I automatically tear up because you kind of know what they're going to say by what's already been done and said by other doctors, little clues, little things, oh, a growth in your throat, your tonsils ginormous. I mean, you notice something is wrong. You've lost so much weight that all of your clothes don't fit. Your jeans are too big, every single pair. And you're sitting there with this woman who um took the biopsy. And she says, "I just want you to know that you have what we doctors consider the best possible cancer that you can have." if you have to have cancer. And I'm looking at her as I don't understand. How can any type of cancer be the best kind? It's I'm not really getting what she's saying. And then she starts explaining to me about the P16 stain that they look for on the cells, the division of the cells, the shape. And she says, did you ever get vaccinated for P16? Like all of our children are now vaccinated. I'm not even sure when they started it. Maybe it was in the 90s, maybe even in the beginning of the 2000s. Because I remember that my oldest daughter had to, have her shots before she went back to school for her sixth grade year. And I couldn't understand that. I'm thinking, just another headache, something else to do that. And then my son, and I call him my son because he's my baby too. He also had to have the vaccination. And they also get mono vaccinations and for mononucleosis and, those vaccinations. And she said, did you ever get either of those vaccinations? And I said, I remember in high school them giving out the mono vaccination. They having kids coming down and lining up in the gymnasium, class by class, grade by grade, to have that vaccination done. Um, but I don't recall them saying anything about P16. I did not even learn of that until Dr. Johnson told me. And so she sends me over to the best ear, nose, and throat surgeon in on the East Coast. He's head director of EVMS, Eastern Virginia Medical School. He is also an instructor. He is the head doctor for ear, nose, and throat in Norfolk Central Hospital. Dr. Bach is, I don't know, pretty kind of famous, I think. I'm not quite sure in his world. But she sent me to him. And this is October 16th. I went to him, uh, I believe it may have been less than a week later. And he looks at it and he schedules everything, every test that I need to have done. And they do this test that is called a PET. I believe it's a PET CAT scan where they give you some, of course, in the IV. And when you're going through it, anything that's cancerous in that area will light up. So when it's throat cancer, they do it from the lungs all the way up, and it will light up. Now, this is what they told me. And then, he's, of course, didn't say anything. And now that we have something called My Chart, you kind of get the results before the doctor can really, tell you anything about them. So you start going off on your own. I'm seeing P16, um, and I gotta go. I got a ginormous, and it's this and it's that. And you start looking up everything. So next thing I know, I'm at my regular doctor who has to sign off for surgery because the PET scan or the PET scan showed where the cancer was. And of course, they didn't, the radiologist and they're not really allowed to tell you anything because they aren't the ones that interpret the findings, the different whatever slides or images. Only the doctor is supposed to tell you that, because you want to hear from anybody. What does this look like? What is it? What do you think? And so I'm off to my regular doctor. Um, she's setting up the appointment with the oncologist. She's setting up the appointment with the psychotherapist. She's setting up a Dr. Box appointment was already set up. It was just a lot of testing that they did, and I'm thankful for it. I am very proactive about the things that can hurt me because I've had over, 10 surgeries. I think it's 12 actually, surgeries throughout the years. And so I'm very proactive in my health care. I go and I make certain that everything is going as it's supposed to be. They say get a mammogram. I get these little boobies up in that thing and get them squeezed and wait for them to send you that paper that says negative for any tumor, and that you're cleared for that, and that's just all you want to hear from these things. But I knew that none of that was going to happen for me right then. I did not know how bad it is. You go to the um, ear, nose, and throat specialist surgeon, and they hand you an entire packet. It's an entire packet of information, and it's almost like a cancer packet. And in it, of course, is what to do. What is, I believe, your, not a will kit, but what you want to do if something happens to you, end of life things, do not resuscitate type things. And they tell me my surgery is going to be on the 2nd, and I'm like, it's only, it's October 20, what, 5th, 24th, something similar to that, and everything has been moving so fast. I've been going day after day to different places to get this test and that test, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. What do I need this for? But excuse me, I'm not going to question them because this is what I need. It's what I need. So, the very last doctor's appointment that I went to was the cardiologist, and my cardiologist no longer practiced, but evidently they keep it in the family over there. They are Indian, and they come from India. And I love the accent. I love their accent. And I can't even remember the doctor's name. And if I could, I could not actually probably even say it correctly. um, so he was like, "Oh, just call me Dr. P," and we're like, "Okay, okay, that's fine. Thank you." And he tried to, of course, make me feel really, you know, okay. He's like, "We're just gonna check and make sure you're okay to go through surgery," because by then, I knew that he was going to take out that tumor. Now, first, dealing with the cardiologist, he was so cool. He actually said, "You lost so much weight that you don't need this medication and you don't need this medication anymore. You don't have to take either of those medications." And I'm thrilled. I am absolutely thrilled. Like, wow, I've been on those medications for years, you know. Um, and y'all are going to hear me put a lot of ice in my cup. Um, so just please ignore that noise. But he said, you're fine. You just have a slight murmur. I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean? I'm like, hold on. This is the first time I'm hearing this. What do you mean murmur? When? Where? When? Who said that? When did that happen? And he said, well, you've always had it, and he said you've always had it, and it wasn't bad enough for them to want to do anything about it. So evidently, a little bit of blood flows backwards, flows the wrong way, and then it corrects itself. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. He said about 90% of the population has the same irregularity, and it's more common in African American people. And so, I know that cardiovascular issues are more important, happen a little more often in the African American community. Um, Sometimes we don't get checked like we should. We don't go to the doctor like we should. Um, but, until we're forced. And over the last 3 years, that, and this is the ice, I'm sorry. Over the last 3 years, since COVID has come out, and it's been a very tense and scary time for everybody. For everybody. And this particular time, and I eat a lot of ice. So I'm sorry. I always have to keep my throat um, lubricated with water, with iced teas with a lot of ice in it, and mm, sorry, trying to put the top on in the straw. Anyway, so I'm taking off a lot of medication. Surgery set up. I'm good to go. Surgery is set up for a few days from when I saw him. I want to say it was the 29th when I saw Dr. Might have been Patel. But when I saw Dr. P, and he cleared me for the surgery, because I know it was last minute for him to clear me. It was very quick. He was very thorough, and making sure that I could do and survive a surgery, and not that I would have a heart attack or on the table or anything. But what he was saying is that the anesthesia could always have this effects. And I leave there, and I now, because I don't have a current significant other right now, um because of my ways, I tend to um get tired of them, or I guess I'm getting what's called set in my ways. Um, I bought myself a 65-inch television for my birthday Christmas present. One of them was last year. And I don't want to really turn and change what's playing on my TV, because it's in front of my king size bed. It's a thing right now of, this is mine, mine, mine. I let you come in, but don't act like it's yours. It's nothing special. It's just that it's mine. It's my special little stuff. It's older furniture, because I do want to get some new furniture, and I probably will, when I no longer have to be a caregiver. and I decide what state I want to move to, what I want to do. So, but beside that, don't come in my house. And it's my house. So I did not have a significant other because when I get tired of them and I no longer have a use for them, or I'm tired of the use that I had them there for, I tend to wait for people to leave. It's time to go. Yeah, it's time for you to go home. Um, you know, don't you need to go see someone or check on something? Or I am terrible. I turn into super bitch because I don't like my lifestyle being threatened by anybody, and especially a man that comes in and, you know, treats my stuff as his own and gets mad with me when I don't want to change something in my home. So that just really gets my goat, you know. So I tend to, they try the last two tried the, oh, well, I don't have to go anywhere. I left my girlfriend for you. I left, and frankly, I would have preferred for them to keep their girlfriends and then go back home when I we no longer need to see each other at the moment. So yeah, it was like that. And they threatened with that. I don't have to go anywhere by law. You can't make me leave. You have to give me 30 days. What? I'm sorry. What? And that's a whole other story time right there. That is story time number 2. Okay. But the threat of, I can call the police on you. You can't make me go. Really? Really? And one actually did. Yeah. He called the police on me because I threatened him, and I try not to brandish firearms in front of people that I don't, I mean, I know, but I don't need them to know that I can take care of myself and my mother and anybody else that needs it or deserves it. So I don't brandish firearms, but um that, I'll call the police on you when I threaten, look, you, and this, it's real simple with this, and this is just a real quick side to this story. This is the reason why I had to go through the surgery alone. um because when men threaten, or they do that 30-day threat thing, all you have to do is put the box or boxes, and you don't need to bring out everything you have, um but you put the lock box on the table, and you don't have to really do nothing, because his eyes are going to go to the box like, what's that? And I'm like, I'm asking you to leave again. I need you out of my house. And they come back with that. You don't have to tell me. You can't do that. I said, so I asked you to leave, and you still actually want to stay here with me? Because I become super bitch. I do. I do. I'm sorry. I'm a thug at heart. I have always been, and unfortunately still am. But um all you have to do is unlock the box and open the top so that the contents show. It explains itself. Even the extra clips to it. I mean, these things explain themselves. So, the tone changes. Well, I'm just saying, well, can I? Mm. So now you're not threatening me because he had called the police. And when the police came, this nice looking African American policeman said to me, well, you need to be careful of who you let in your house. I was like, excuse me? You what? And he said, you need to be careful who you let stay with you in your house. Oh, this is what you're saying to me. Oh, I gotta be careful. Oh, okay. You're right. You are absolutely right. I do have to be careful. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And he says, they say, they're talking to each other like, hey, bro, yeah, I understand. You all right though? You all right, right? And I'm sitting looking like, wow. Oh, wow, this is interesting. Mhm. Sorry, the water. This is some interesting male bonding going on over there. Police leaves. Okay. And then you get that. See, I told you I don't have to go anywhere um for 30 days. And you got to write it to me and send it to. Oh, you're right. That is legally how you do it. You are absolutely correct. So, again, all you have to do to fix that is to sit that box on the table. I prefer the kitchen table because that's where a lot of business gets taken care of. And their eyes go there quickly because of the overhead light and the fan. And, like I said, the tone changes. Well, you know what I mean, I was just saying, because I don't have anywhere to go, you wouldn't, just put me out, would you? Could you at least give me a week to stay? So the tone changes then because Super Bitch is out. And Super Bitch is like, fuck you. I asked you to leave my house. Okay. So I asked you, you're at this point, you're bothering me. And I don't like you anymore. So I won't be inviting you back. And when they see my son, my oldest son, that's my protector. Okay. And he made sure that I could protect me, myself, and my mother. Um, and even my younger two children when they were younger. So I'm not an amateur at anything. So when I tell somebody I need them to leave, no, I really don't care if you don't have somewhere to stay. I really don't care. And it was a lot more explicit, but for story time, I'm not trying to make it like that because this is about my cancer. So basically, I tend to say, this is my phone. Let me get you an Uber. Give me an address where you'd like to go. Don't worry, I'll pay for it. So I turn into the supreme bitch. And this is it's so weird because uh, thugs attract thugs. And it's just like that. So those thugs were, nobody wants to stay those actual extra 30 days that they say they can when they see that you have this lockbox and then this bigger lockbox. Nobody wants to stay then because they're like, oh, that was under the bed the whole time? Yep, sure was. Where I could reach it. And the smaller one, the one I'm really good at with aim, stays in the lockbox, but the lockbox is in my drawer right there at the front of the head of the bed by me. Oh, I didn't know that you practiced with firearms. Yes, sir, I do. I always have. And I prefer gentlemen thugs that do. Um, because if I can protect myself, I'm going to need someone that can protect me. I didn't bring you here to protect me. I brought you here for other reasons. Now that those reasons are finished, I need you to leave. So, what address do you want to go to? And it's just that simple. And it's, the Uber or the Lyft pulls up and it's bring anything that you brought into my house with you. Okay, just whatever you brought with you. I had one even bring a 32-inch television with him that he was carting around. And I'm like, well, that's because he left his girlfriend. Again, I prefer you to stay with her. And I just need you for for those few times or whatever, depending on performance. And then I need you to go. Okay, so um bye. I don't really give a flying, you know, F, where you go. I just needed an address. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then they go quietly, some cursing, couple cursing. You a bitch. Yeah, the bitch. Mm-hmm. The bitch. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I am my own bitch, but I'm not yours. So, back to my story. I have a very good friend that I've had since the eighth, ninth grade in middle school and high school. It wasn't called junior, or I don't know which one. It was either junior then and middle now. Yeah, that's what it is. So it was junior high and then high school. It was a group of us and we all hung out together. After I changed from the bad group, that I was not bad, but okay, the more whatever, the first group I was hanging out with when I was 13. So anyway, she and I get together very often. She sells insurance. If you have any insurance needs, life or term insurance, um, the type of insurance. Also, I believe she still works for Aflac. Um, she's also has a clothing line that she and I are going to collaborate on because none of my clothes fit me. And I have literally no body pictures because I'm always the one taking the pictures. It just pisses me off. I don't know how to set the stupid thing up and pose for a picture. I just don't get it. I don't know how to do that very well. So um now that I need basically a new wardrobe for the very first vacation that I'm going on next year, I am excited as hell. And she actually has a really nice clothing line, and I'm hoping that she can send me the latest runway show that she did. Um, of course, I plan to purchase some of these things, and some of these things, will be given to me as well. So the collaboration works on both sides. Anyway, she takes me there, and I'm scared. I am so scared because, I felt like I was going to my last battle, if it makes any sense to anybody. Anybody that has to go to surgery and know that they have to be put to sleep, and it's scary to know that you have no control over a situation when you are um in fact a type of person that likes to have the control over a situation. And I had a his crazy nurse. She was like, "Oh, well," and they would call me the whole time before I was coming in for my surgery, and check on you. Paul was my psychotherapist, very nice. He's no longer with that office, but I enjoyed him. He called me every day. How are you today? You feeling all right? Are you doing okay? How's your mom? He just checked on me like a good friend. And I didn't know this white man from Adam, but I'm a people person, and I love people. And it comes through for most. It comes through. I love people. My job is roadside assistance. I love people, and I love my job. I love helping people. So I got that packet, of course, and he explained the things in there. Um, and the crazy nurse, I I still don't like that chick. I don't even remember her name. That's how I don't like her. This chick calls me, "Oh, hey, how you doing today? Paul is not in today, so I was calling to check on you." This is like a day or two before surgery, and I am scared to death, of course. Like I told you, I have been getting more and more scared the closer and closer I get to surgery. So I get my house in order. Literally, everything was completely cleaned. Everything was washed, put away, folded. Everything was dusted, done. I felt like I wasn't going to come back. Okay. I did. I felt like that. I this nurse told me, she called me as I was driving. I was going to pick up a prescription from my pain management doctor, and I was driving over there, and from that doctor's appointment, so I saw my pain management doctor as well. I was driving from there, from Suffolk, over to Portsmouth, not quite downtown Portsmouth, but I guess Midtown. And this bitch calls me, and, "Oh, hi, Miss Patterson. Yeah, Laura. Yeah, Miss Patterson, Paul's not in today. So I was calling to check on you, and I just kind of wanted to let you also know that yeah, if you have to have radiation, and if that's something that has to happen, then all of your teeth, we'll take all of your teeth out during surgery, and You just you'll wake up and you'll heal, and then we'll help you get your new set of a new set of a set of teeth or whatever. It was just like when I first heard you are going to lose every tooth in your head. Yeah, I got a couple that need to come out. I broke a couple. Yes, boy, I would like for you to take them out while you're in there. Just pop it out from the other side. But no. So I'm literally crying like the biggest baby I can possibly be. And I wind up at Walmart, and I make the joke that I live at Walmart. I just come here to change clothes every now and then. That's my joke. And so all of my roadside assistance people that I help, I always try to make them less stressed and um, just less apprehensive after their vehicle quits on them, or they have a sudden loss of their vehicle, and they're on the highway, or they're somewhere that's they can't, middle of the street. We've all had these things happen. So I end up at my favorite Walmart where I know damn near everybody that works there. And I'm I end up there, and I'm trying to stop the tears from coming down. And I had my friend with me, my neighbor, who's also my friend. She's like a younger version of me, just about to turn 40. We hang out, sometimes and things. And she's with me, as she usually is whenever I go to my home, Walmart. And so we go, and I'm crying, and I'm so upset. And she's like, Lori, calm down. You don't know for certain that this is going to happen. I don't want you to worry about it. You don't want to get your blood pressure up. You don't need to be upset before surgery. And I'm thinking, I didn't call that bitch, that she called me. Where is Paul? I need Paul right now. And I'm crying. And God works in the strangest ways. He doesn't always give you what you want, but he will always give you what you need at that moment. And even if it's not at that moment, it is at the moment that he feels it's appropriate for you. And I happen to turn around, and I see this woman that I have known since I was in my early 20s, when me and her sister and her three brothers and their kids and my kids and all of us used to hang out together so much. I basically lived at each of their homes. Half of the time I would go back to my house, my townhouse. I mean, it was she just walked up to me, and she gave me the biggest hug. Okay, thank you, phone. And she says, "You are so beautiful. I don't want you to worry." She said, "Why are you crying, baby? You don't need to cry, because you are always going to be surrounded by angels and special lights." And I believe that to a T. I absolutely believe that. I have not seen her other than on Facebook from time to time, in person, for years. We used to work together. I hired her when I worked at the Center, not the Center for Pain, but at Hair Cuttery. I hired her I hired her as my assistant manager when I made manager of one store. When I was given two stores, I let her, basically run the first, and I kind of ran the other in near Greenbrier, near Battlefield Boulevard. And when I was blessed with managing a third hair cuttery at the age, I think I had to be then 25, I was blessed to manage three different hair cutteries. So I managed like 12 to 10 hairstylists in each of them, plus manager, and plus my vice managers, my co-managers at the other stores as well. I was so very blessed, but that's neither here nor there right now. Another story time, I promise. I see Donna and we're grabbing each other's faces like we're touching. It is, we look like we look like we ran through the fields. Silly. I can't remember Silly sister's name. But we're standing there hugging and touching each other's face and crying. And it's the funniest to anybody looking at us trying to go into Walmart. They're probably like, what the fuck is this? What the hell are they? Are they long lost lovers? I mean, what the fuck is this about? I was so blessed by my Lord and my Savior to have a person put back directly in my life who was such a special person, such a helpful, strong, one of my backbones, one of my girls, one of my ace boon coons. You know what I mean? One of those people that have been your ride or dies. I only have a few ride or dies. Okay. I have a few friends that I will ride or die for, and they will do the same for me. And it's an absolutely beautiful feeling. Okay, it is. And I know you guys have some as well. that person that when they call you and they need you and they just say, I need you, come here. You grab your keys, throw on your shoes, and get in the car. It don't make a difference what the hell you look like. It don't make a difference what the hell you dress like. If your bitch call you and say, bitch, I need you. I need you. You come. There's no questions asked. I have a few of those. I always have. And I am blessed by them. I can call them anytime. They can call me anytime. I did not call my ride or dies and just tell them about this. I just used my Facebook, because I knew that they would want to surround me, excuse me, right then. And I didn't have the time, for the surrounding of of the actual person, but I knew that their love, that their ride or die, that they will be there. They will come there to you. They will come and be your ride or die when your children won't talk to you. Okay? When your younger generation who didn't and doesn't understand the things that they went through to take care of you won't talk to you. But that's okay. Again, another story time. Another story time. But those ride or dies all got in contact with me, and I got to see my CLE. And she said, it's so weird. I never go to that Walmart. She said, I usually go to the other one that's in Midtown Portsmouth. And she said, I just felt like stopping here today. She said, I felt like I needed to stop. And I thank God for putting her and her wife in my path. Her wife used to be a patient of the pain management facility that I used to work at, their front desk, and the medical training. But again, another story time. And she was one of my rocks. Now, I need to get to the surgery part because I bet you do got to go to work. Um, the day comes for surgery. And by then I've had many of the people in my life that are close, and I mean in proximity, not close in necessarily uh familial or the best of friend kind of way, but I've had so many people come and pray with and for me. They would come and just surround me with their light, with their positivity, and with their love. And they were there for me in that time. And just Andrea, who is all the way across the country, all the way in California, reaches out to me, and she reached out hard, hard. If she could have been there when I went into surgery, she would have. And she sent me her love and her positivity and her light and her understanding. And thank you, Andrea. I thank you, and I thank all of my friends and family that were there and are still there with and for me through this journey. I am prepped for surgery. I go in there, I've made my hair. I just basically gelled it back, and all the waves popped in and all of that. So I go into surgery like that, and as Dr. Bach comes to talk to me, it's so weird now the way they do surgery. They put you in this little suit like thing. It's so interesting. Anyway, um, he came to talk to me, and he said, "Oh yeah, this is not going to be that bad. I just want you to know, you're going to feel some pain afterwards. You're going to have some things to deal with, but we're going to take care of you." And I could see that this man looked, I mean, it was 5:30 in the morning, and I could see he had bags and rings under his eyes because he does so much for Norfolk Centera and for Eastern Virginia Medical School. He does so very much. This man looked tired, but he looked ready. He looked strained, but he looked ready. And I was like, Dr. Bach, you have to take all of my teeth out. He looked at me, he was like, no. He said there's one tooth back there, like a wisdom tooth. While I'm in there, I'm just gonna take that one out. I mean, you don't need it. I was like, what? Because I had prepared myself. My friend Auntie drove me to the hospital at 5 in the morning. She is exhausted. I am exhausted. Um, she and she did the same thing. She prayed. She did everything. She sent me all of her love and positivity and everything. And I can never repay her. So I hope our collaboration goes very well and that you all love her clothing line or anything, any pieces in it, any parts. Um, anyway, I look at Dr. Bach and I'm like, what? I said, but that's what the nurse said I'm gonna have to have rated. He was like, what? He said, he looked at me like, are you stupid? And I'm looking at him like, are you stupid? Now, because I was scared to death and I didn't know what to expect. I'm thinking, oh, the world is going to change. All of my teeth will be removed. And I'm going, you just basically think that you are nearing your end. Your mortality comes into your view right there, right in your view. And I don't know about anybody else, but I don't look back over my life because I'm looking forward. I've done back. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking back to see where I've been. I'm going forward. So Dr. Box says, no, Miss Patterson, no. Lord, all we're going to do, we're going to take your tonsil out. We're going to do what I call, or what he calls, a radical tonsillectomy and neck dissection. Scares the shit out of me. I'm going to show you what I look like I think 2 or 3 days after, because I got out of the hospital like in two. Let me see. I had it Wednesday morning. I was home by Friday evening. I had it Wednesday morning. I was home by Friday evening. They had taken the feeding tube out because they didn't want me swallowing unnecessarily or putting anything through, So they took the feeding tube out. That's a whole trip in itself to somebody who's had a gastric bypass. You can only go so far in there. It's just all that is what it is. You can't go but so far. And I get home, and I mean, when I wake up, it is so odd because that coming out of anesthesia, and it's like waking up from just like this long, long time. But of course, it feels like you just went to lay up there and you can see the light. Big ass light. I wish they would have drugged me harder before I went in. I hate that light. It is huge over your head. It is huge. Now, some of the tables, and I think most of the tables, surgeries that I've had, they basically strap you down. Feel your neck. They feel your neck, okay, to see about, okay, so she's got a clear way that we could, intubate her, I think is the word. If she stops breathing or something. And it's like, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Now, one surgery. Now, this one, luckily, I did not have to. I mean, I was drugged some, so they had me calm down. Okay, but I still saw shit and I didn't like it. One time I went into a surgery that I had to have, and they strapped me to a table with my arms out on either side on these little tablets. They strapped my arms down. They strapped my waist. They strapped my hips. and they strapped my legs. And the man, the anesthesiologist, who never introduced himself by the damn way, came up to me and starts feeling my throat. Like, what this feeling that my windpipe, he's feeling my windpipe and saying, "Can I look in your mouth?" I'm like, what? But that was that surgery. But I felt, I don't know if you could ever feel like Jesus, but that light was bright at that time, and I felt like I was going to die. I felt like, oh my God, I'm coming to see you, Lord. Please forgive me, for I definitely have been a bad girl. But this time it was different. It was a lot different. And I remember them, putting me to sleep. It was effortless, and the little outfit they have you put on, it was like something that they could tear through, I guess, if they needed to. But I wake up, of course my throat is sore, and you deal with it. I'm going to see if I can show you what. Nope, it won't let me. But I think I can if I share my screen and go to my email and show you. Nope, nope, nope. I did the wrong thing again. All right. I'm still relearning StreamYard. I am relearning it. So I am going to my, oh, there we go. This picture is a picture of my throat. Of course, obviously. The Band-Aid is where the drain was. Of course, they have always put a drain in when they do a surgery so that the accumulated fluid, this is how swollen everything was after he went in. If you ever do a search in Google, you will see what what it looks like when they take out your lymph nodes. So they took out all of my lymph nodes on that right side. They cut me, as you can see, from right there behind my ear and around to the middle of my throat. And this was 3 days after. And what's interesting, and things change over the years. So with this, really? Not now, girl. So I oh Jesus, yeah. So this is 3 days after I get home. I'm in my own little blue leopard print nightgown. And okay, I'm still swollen. I'm from the top of my ear, where my ear is, all that area down was numb. And every day. Now I'm a pro at surgery, so I know how it feels, and I know what to expect afterwards. I know how it, what's gonna hurt, how it's gonna hurt. I'm a pro at it. I already know. I'm not scared of how I'm gonna feel afterwards. I just want to get my ass home. So what they do now, instead of putting all of this wound stuff on you and whatnot, that shiny stuff on my neck is actually antibacterial ointment. Isn't that okay? He's literally gone all the way into my neck, where he could have cut my head off, basically. And you can see my hair is growing back. It grows quick, and it was gone when I went in the hospital, so grows quick as hell. Anyway, all of the doctors, when I was in the hospital, he showed me off like I was his trophy of the week of the year. I had at least 20 doctors look in my throat, in my neck, and in my throat. Both mornings when I woke up from anesthesia, later that evening, um, the next day, the morning before I was going home, and they had taken the feeding tube out. I mean, they it was oh, let me show you. Please come in, take a look. They showed me, and the nurse told me they were going to show me off. The nurse told me, and in my ear is blood, and betadine. They didn't want me to try to really clean it out yet. My entire ear was numb, and it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad, but my face down to my neck was numb. I couldn't really move my neck to the left. What is that? Right, left, whatever. I couldn't turn my head very well. Let me get rid of this picture. Um, so since luckily I don't have to worry about that anymore. Um, thank God it healed very well. I mean, it healed very, very well. Um, since I have to go to work, I'm gonna show you the last picture, and then I can leave you guys alone with my story time. This is, just my story time where I am sharing with my friends, and you all are my friends. I hope. I pray and hope, and I just want to share with you my journey. So this is 9 months later. This was this month, I believe, a couple of days ago, a few days ago. Um, as you can see, it is very, very, very clear, or not clear, but flat down where the scar is. And my doctors love it. I mean, they say, "Oh, he did such a great job," and this is my battle scar. Okay, this is my battle scar. I'm not fighting anybody. This is my scar, and they asked me, do you want to consult with a um what is this damn doctor's name? With a plastic surgeon, to cover or change it. I said, no, not at all. No, I'm fine. I'm fine just like this. I said, any beauty contest, Playboy's not going to call me tomorrow. I'm just me. I'm just hanging. It's just me. I'm just a 52-year-old black woman that is just trying to live life, take care of her mother, be the person that God wants her to be. You know, sometimes, it's getting ready thunderstorm. I love thunderstorms. Sometimes it actually, um, it's, sometimes in life, it's things are just too scary. So what I did was I looked forward, okay, to this point. Not necessarily in 9 months. I looked forward to how I would feel at 3 months from the surgery. After the holidays, I looked forward to how I would feel. Um, I don't know, 6 months, whatever. I looked forward. Okay, I looked forward to how I was going to feel, and I guess that's enough for showing my ugly mug. Oh goodness! But see, now that is when I had put Libertine in my hair, which is that Danger Jones Libertine, semi-permanent. It's that grapey, purpley grape, little bluish color in my hair. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. My story is a happy ending. My doctor, I would say after they took the stitches out and they did another scan to make sure everything was gone, because what he did was he took the tonsil out and he shaved my throat around. And, you know, an adult getting a tonsillectomy is a hell of a lot harder than a child. So if your child can get a tonsillectomy now, shucks, do it. But luckily, now my face is still slightly swollen. Okay. It's always going to be. So no matter what I do, no matter where I am, whatever, I'm going to always have that scar. And I'm going to always have that slight swollenness because he cut. It's like cutting into meat. And he went all the way into the skeletal muscle. And so he had to cut all those nerve endings and cut that muscle. Oh my God. It was to look at it, and I didn't see the surgery. What I saw was the pictures on Google. They told me to leave shit alone, stop Googling, stop looking at stuff, but I couldn't help it. So I looked at it and I could feel every day the numbness would go down a little bit on my face. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I could feel every day. It took about maybe 3 months for it to actually start feeling my actual pain in my neck. And it was zap, 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 zap. It was like all those nerve endings were reconnecting. So I'm sleeping and my face is just moving just back and forth. And it's so weird. It's like, what's going on here? What? Odd. But when I went back for my month, 2 month, 3 month checkup, I was told by Dr. Bach that make sure I got it correct, that the tumor of the squamous cell carcinoma is completely gone. There was some little of it in the first or second level, because you have levels with these lymph nodes. I'm telling you, you look this stuff up, will blow your mind. So don't if you don't have to. But it had a little bit there, but they still took all the lymph nodes, which were good, because anytime they try to get rid of cancer in the body, there is a chance for it to start spreading. So he wanted to make sure I didn't need any radiology, and he said that I was completely cleared. I don't need radiology, so I didn't need any radiation treatments. The only time that you have chemotherapy, and this is for a certain person, the only time that a person has chemotherapy is when they have cancer in several places, or a couple or few places in their body, in more than one place in their body. That's when you have to have chemotherapy. Okay. Just for the dummies in the back. Radiation would shrink a tumor. So I had a choice at the beginning. Do I want to do radiation and shrink the tumor and then just let them, I guess, snip it out or whatever? If you're going to do surgery anyway, let's go ahead and do it. We'll go ahead and do surgery anyway. And so we did it, and I'm here. And I am so thankful that I'm here. I still feel a sense of survivor's regret. or Survivor. Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but I feel kind of like I cheated the system because I smoked all those years. And of course, everybody and anybody is going to tell you stop smoking. And I am on my way, well on my way. I am getting there. But because I have smoked for so many years, it has become ingrained in my habits and in my body. I mean, nicotine it embeds itself into your bones, into every place in your body. So I have quite a bit of nicotine in me. So that is my next battle that I am doing. And I am so thankful to be cured, but I felt guilty because when every time I've heard that somebody got cancer or had cancer, it was um, terminal. My aunt passed away a couple of years ago. No, actually, it was maybe I believe 8 years ago. I'm not sure because I don't like thinking of how tiny she was at the end. We were talking about 170, 80 sized woman, beautiful woman, absolutely beautiful. And she was 82, and then they found pancreatic cancer. And she just got just deflated almost. And she has so tiny, and she wouldn't eat. She couldn't eat. She just wouldn't. She was hiding her pills. She didn't want to. I mean, it was, but that's another story. Time. I think I have overstayed my welcome. I just know that I am thankful. I would like to please encourage anybody who is 45 and under to have this shot, this vaccine for P16, and also the mononucleosis or mono shot or vaccine, because both of those can turn cells into cancer cells, normal cells into cancer cells. That's what they do. And they make those normal cells turn into just wild cells that are like multiplying and dividing, and it's horrible. But I saw her get so tiny and fight so hard, and I felt very guilty because I felt that I cheated the system, and I still kind of feel like that. My therapist says, you have to think positively. You were blessed, and I was absolutely blessed. So I am very thankful to be here. I ask that you please like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't. I would love new friends, old friends. I would love to do different things. I don't want to battle all the time. I really don't. As a matter of fact, J Dunn, I'm sorry. I am very sorry. And I hope that all can just be civil between us. I have nothing else bad to say. I'm sorry. So I'm going to end. I've got to go to work. I love you all. I hope you have a beautiful day, night, morning, weekend, whatever time of the day or whatever, whenever you listen to this. And I hope you stay blessed. And just know that light and positivity, they stay with you and around you. And Everybody's given a gift, and you can ask you can ask Pastor J about the gifts that people are given. I was given a gift to see light around people, whether it's light or darker, and I don't know exactly what it is. I believe it's called desertion. Desertion, I believe. I gotta ask Pastor J, but I can discern a little about people, and despite my thuggish ways, I can learn how to how to change it. But I thank you guys. I gotta go. I love you all. I want you to have a wonderful day. Bye.